when I met Troy, I took an immediate liking to him. And one of the reasons why is because I could feel his passion, his commitment, and his dedication to not just these products, but it didn't take me long to begin to tap into there was something else going on with these products, and that something else that was going on was a mission that a group of people have been coming together on alongside of or with John Easterling, the founder of this company, and that mission has to do with helping or at least contributing to the saving of the Amazon rainforest. The other thing I picked up from Troy is his vast amount of knowledge in light of these products and the relationship that he too seems to have with the Amazon herbs or the energy, the life force energy of the Amazon rainforest. He has a very unique expression. He loves the whole idea of health. He loves the whole idea of helping people become healthy. And he loves the whole idea of them doing so with the help of the Amazon rainforest.
Mission and vision of the Amazon Herb Company is to offer the world life-changing herbal remedies, economically empower the indigenous tribes, who in turn preserve the rainforest for all mankind. I started studying natural medicine, internal purification, nutrition, and health 20 years ago when I was in Milan modeling. And I was economically motivated to look and feel my best, to make money for myself in front of the camera. And this company culminates into the pinnacle of what I have found scouring the planet for not only truth, but of course the most powerful nutrition on the planet. And the reason I can say the most powerful nutrition on the planet is because these herbs are wild, grown in virgin soil. So wild is the top of the food chain. It goes wild, then biodynamic, then organic, Oregon Tilth organic, then USDA organic, and then commercial. And then probably GMOs and most of the other elements, processed foods, and non-foods like margarine, which is one molecule off from plastic. So, yes. So this company represents the pinnacle of nutrition, and also biodiversity dictates strength in genetic codes, and the Amazon is the most biodiverse place on the planet, making them the strongest genetic codes on Earth. The plants need to be resistant to funguses, molds, and bacteria because it rains for 3 weeks straight. There's thousands of insects down there trying to basically eat the plants. And so they need to be strong and resistant. So when you take them into your body, nutritionally they support your body on a great level. And most people have had somewhat of an experience in that. Many hands have had great experiences with these plants. And anyone who hasn't, just keep taking them. They're the pinnacle of anti-aging as well. Every facet of anti-aging science is met and exceeded with Rainforest Botanicals inside or outside. So one thing that I would like to point out right now, first is our process. Let me pull up this document, and I have this document for anyone who needs it. We use what they call the Spagyric process, and it's a process that's developed from the 15th century alchemist Paracelsus. They take 100% of the plant profile and make it bioavailable. This is the way herbs come. If you're down in the Amazon, you can purchase a bottle of herbs at most of the herb markets down there. This is just roots, and then they put it in alcohol. And the alcohol extracts the medicine. So there's two ways to get the medicine behind the plant cellulose out of the plants. One is water, the other is alcohol. And so they let that sit in the alcohol for about maybe 30 days or more, depending on the plant, the durability of the wood, roots, or barks. And then you drink that, and it has the medicinal qualities in it. We take it one step further, and we crush up the roots, or what they call in plant medicine, the bones of the plants, what's left. We put it in a kiln, and we cook it off and what's left is the mineral ash from the rainforest floor. So what you get are all the minerals back in these bottles. And so we have the plants that are pristine. The shamans, they come to the plants and they sing to the plants before they pick them, asking permission for the plant spirits to give the energetics of the plants. So they bless the plants. And then they harvest them, and then we have third-party genus inspectors who look and make sure that these plants are what we say they are. Then they're hand inspected through the Port of Miami, and so that's more expensive as well, hand inspection. If anybody knows, since 9/11, most of what's coming in from out of the country is irradiated or fumigated. And so hand inspection is more expensive, but of course, you're worth it, we're worth it. And so everything comes through the Port of Miami, hand inspected, then we start the process, the Spagyric process that I was talking about. And then about 2 years ago, we figured out how to siphon off alcohol at room temperature with these giant vats. Everybody see that? And I have this PDF available for anyone that needs to see that. So we figured out how to siphon off alcohol at room temperature. So that's what's in the Liquisons, the capsules. So these are super concentrated. They're more concentrated. 3 of these equal a teaspoon of this. The difference between Liquisons and liquid is the liquid is alcohol, and alcohol has a better delivery system, a more effective delivery system for the blood barrier. So it will deliver it into your blood a lot quicker. And so if people are allergic to alcohol, they can take the Liquisons, or if they prefer not to have alcohol. Your body produces an ounce of alcohol every single day, so a teaspoon here or there is not going to harm you at all whatsoever. And so the Liquisons I like to have as well, and I like to chew those because I like to get them in my bloodstream as soon as possible. When I started with the company, we had a total health pack. The total health pack dealt with all systems in the human body. So that's the nervous system, the endocrine system, the digestive tract, all the systems in the body to support it nutritionally so the body can heal itself ultimately. The Creator set us up for autogenesis, which allows the body to heal itself. If it has the proper nutrition, the body will build its own red blood cells within 4 months and start to rebuild the organs within 6 months, if and only if it has the proper nutrition. And we have to be aware of what's happening nutritionally on the planet. We've got chemical surface runoff, pesticides and herbicides that are affecting the flora and the fauna. And so all this, even your best organics, is still grown next to freeways with diesel trucks going on over it. So when you're aware of that, it's paramount to optimal health to supplement your diet. And of course, these are not supplements per se. They are whole foods in bioavailable form. We'll start out with the Camu because this is probably the most important thing to come out of the Amazon. The Camu berry is not only the highest concentrated source of vitamin C, it has 400 phytochemicals and nutrition that the brain loves. For example, ellagic acid, which has been shown in research to break up the calcification of the dendrites. As we age, our brain, our insides, they calcify from the inside out. There's also 2 components, quercetin and quercitrin, which in laboratory studies, again, they're showing quercetin acts as great nutrition for inflammation, number 1 component of aging. And so there's also leucine, valine, and serine. It creates a biological terrain for the body to build its own serotonin. And so it's the feel-good fruit. And there's 400 phytochemicals in it, so that was what? 4 or 5. So you can imagine. And the Indians came to John. About 15 years ago, is my understanding, and said, we'd like you to look at this berry. And John was like, oh, vitamin C, I get it. And they were like, look at it a little bit deeper. And he then passed it off to Dr. James Duke, the leading ethnobotanist, and he started to uncover the real power behind this berry. And it's only just recently started to be studied. And so the Camu, highest concentrated source of vitamin C, it's great for that skin, hair, nails, and brain food. Then I'd like to move to the tea, which is a major major component of the story of this company. John Easterling was deep inside the Amazon. He was an explorer. He'd been taking out artifacts, monkey bones, semi-precious stones from South America for a very long time. He was well known as a trader, and he had been exposed to Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and it developed into a compromised liver situation. And he would get these fevers, and he was deep in the Amazon, and he had a serious issue with his health. And he was deep inside in this village called Porvenir Village, and they gave him very dark brews of some of the herbs that are in this tea. And he walked out of Rainforest after having a very compromised health situation with a complete life experience, a new life experience. And so he realized that, hey, why weren't the doctors giving me this? And so he took bags of it back to a doctor's conference, and that was the impetus for the company 20 years ago. And so when you start to dig down deep, and what are these plants? What happened in the rainforest? This is Unyinagato, known as cat's claw. It's one of the main components in the treasure tea. Unyinagato, in 1994, the World Health Organization had a symposium on this plant. That's the WHO and one plant. That's the power of the spirit of this plant demanding to be recognized on the world market. Because 20 years ago, it was unknown. Now you can get it in most places. And this is a perfect example of unsustainability, if you will. Because after the cat was out of the bag in cat's claw, people went down there like the gold rush and just started hacking it down and taking it out of the jungle. And of course, our company, all of our business practices are about sustainability. And so we have to garner certain permits to go into certain areas, so we don't go back in there and harvest it if it hasn't grown back to full maturity. So everything's about sustainability in every step of the process. So Unyinagato, as John said in the video, it stimulates macrophage phagocytosis, which really just stimulates the immune system. So very, 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 very key plant for the immune system, nutritionally. Then you also have a plant in the treasure tea called Chanca Piedra. And Chanca Piedra translates as stonebreaker in Peruvian Spanish. Chanca, to break, and piedra means stone. And so if you start to look at the research abstract and the doctors, what they say is it breaks up excess calculi formations. So in the doctrine of signatures, and the doctrine of signature, a perfect example is you cut a carrot open and it looks like the iris of your eye. You cut a tomato open and it has 4 chambers like the heart. A walnut you break in half and it looks like the brain. So the doctrine of signatures on Chanca Piedra has these little green balls on it. So they resemble gallstones. Then we move on to Chuchuwasi. Chuchuwasi, as nutritionally supports the bones. In the Amazon, the Indians use it for any kind of, we don't call it arthritis down there, rheumatism, but it's stagnation, basically. And Chuchuwasi is also a big tree in the Amazon. So when you drink it, there's no caffeine or adrenal burn in it, but you get the big energy of a big tree. And also there's a plant in it called Jatuba. And Jatuba is the same thing. It's a big tree. And it also grows in marshy areas. And so it needs to be resistant to funguses, molds, and bacteria. We also put it in our skincare in the cleanser. It's very cleansing and detoxifying. And so Jatuba, Chuchuwasi, Chanca Piedra is also being studied for its reverse transcriptase inhibition, block the replication of viruses. So it's being studied in the AIDS and hepatitis community right now. And so very key plants. Over 3,000 plants have been documented by the National Cancer Institute, and that is, out of 215,000 plant species in the Amazon, only 2% of them have been studied. And out of those 2%, 40% of all drugs on the market and 25% of all cancer drugs get their footprint from rainforest plants. And of course, standardized, isolated phytochemistry creates side effects. Side effects, everybody's seen the commercials recently. erectile dysfunction, or even death. Ask your doctor if this is right for you. So the thing is the creator, God, whatever you would like to call intelligent design, set forth these plants for us, for our body. Hippocrates said, "Let thy food be thy medicine." And so when you eat the whole foods, there is no side effects, except for it assists the body nutritionally to its highest potential. So we have many organs in the body: spleen, thymus, liver, kidneys, and these organs need to run optimally for the body to function optimally. We're dealing with pollution and other stresses in our environment, so we want to give our bodies nutritionally everything that's really coming to us, so we can express ourselves at its fullest potential. So our cleanse and detox pack that our company has designed is the tea, because this nutritionally assists the kidneys, liver, and the blood, and the Fiberzon, which assists the liver and the colon. So these together help to cleanse and detoxify the digestive tract and the organs. And so this is the cleanse and detox component of our total health pack, what I call the total health pack. So when you're dealing with people out there and they would like to do a cleanse, or possibly they're overweight or sluggish, you can always start them off with this. These two products together are $55 plus tax and shipping. And so this is a great place to start. Tea tastes great. Everybody have the tea? Right? Tea tastes great. It's not like your normal herbal, good for you tea. It's really good. It tastes dynamite, and it's really great for your blood. You can drink a lot of it too. You can drink a quart and a half a day, and it's not going to do anything harmful to you. There may be a little detox effect there, but that's your body just balancing itself out. And then, of course, the Fiberzon acts as a gentle broom on the intestinal tract. It has boldo in it, and boldo is used in Brazil as a hangover cure. And so it also has been shown in third-party research to flush bile secretion through the liver. And so it has sangre de drago, once again, the chanca piedra, and the slippery elm bark, which is also in the Amazon. It's called malva. And so it lubricates the digestive tract as well, especially the small intestine and the large intestine. It really helps soothe everything in there. And there's one major component that I'd like to point out. When you're working with people, you want to ask them, do you suffer from constipation at all whatsoever? And this is a very important question, because so many people in our society have some component or another of constipation, because we live in a rush society. And so, in one way, shape, or form, people are a little plugged up. And so we added the rhubarb, because the rhubarb helps to stimulate peristalsis function, and so to help the colon move much more easier. Same ingredients added with rhubarb to stimulate the peristalsis function. So you want to ask that question, and if someone's even hesitant at all, start them off with this anyways. Really get the colon moving. And so we want to be moving towards 2 to 3 bowel movements a day, big ones, because we want everything moving out of the body. The colon is the most important part of our health regimen. And so Fiberzon, if people do not have any constipation whatsoever, Fiberzon Plus to get them started. They can easily transition when they're done. And if anybody hasn't tried this yet, it moves through you like a charm. You're like, wow. It's one of those wow things. Actually. Okay, so the Illumination originally was our flagship product. The Illumination has 30 wild plants from the Amazon. So it has 6 of our formulas: Metabazon, Archazon, Digestazon, Calmazon. So there's 6 formulas in Illumination. So it helps to assist all bodily functions: adrenal function, pancreatic function, spleen function. So when your body's fed, your mind can be clear, and you're grounded. So you can have energy and mental clarity. So for energy and mental clarity, and then of course, the herbs are grown in virgin soil, so you're getting complete mineral matrix. You're getting your trace elements, your trace minerals of platinum, indium, iridium, gold. And these elements are highly conductive. So when you're putting them in your body at a regular and constant basis, then you become much more electric. So you can give and receive information easier. So you can relax at a cellular level. So the number one thing that people say with these plants, in my own personal experience after many years of practicing meditation and doing a lot of personal development, is the clarity. The clarity that came from my first health pack. I had a complete upgrade in my life, and that's why I'm still passionate almost 5 years later. I haven't skipped a beat. I was like, boom, turned on, okay, what's next? Give me the people. And so, Illumination was definitely one of my favorites straight out of the gate. The other thing I wanted to go into is the Power Shake and the Sumakazan. The Power Shake and the Sumakazan have the same 3 components in it: maca, suma, and muipuama. Maca and suma together have 19 amino acids, the building blocks of protein, the building blocks of life. And so, muipuama, suma, and maca are 3 of the most powerful libido stimulators on the planet. And so the endocrine system is directly related to our energy, rejuvenation, sexual vitality. In Chinese medicine, they call it the dantian. It's our lower chakras, it's our energy, it's where we get our gusto. And so when you turn that on, it regulates out of the brain, out of the pituitary gland. And it regulates the thyroid for metabolism, the thymus for the immune system, the adrenals for our energy, testes, ovaries, testosterone, progesterone, because men and women both have the same. It's to bring balance and harmony, so when the body's nutritionally fed, it's uplifted, and so the body can be strong and clear, so the mind can be clear, the body's strong. And so the Amazon herbs in general are not necessarily about killing the bad stuff. It's really about supporting our system, our biological system, so it can be strong to be resistant to anything else. So we're strong, clear, coherent. So the maca is known as Peruvian ginseng. Suma is known as Brazilian ginseng. Good story around the suma. The suma is known as the Russian secret because in the 70s, the Russians used it in place of anabolic steroids because it has a similar effect with no side effects. And so during all the doping testing in the 70s, in the Olympics, they started to utilize that. And my own personal experience is it makes my muscles full and my spine, I can walk around like this. This stuff's powerful. Anybody have experience on Sumakazan or the Power Shake? I mean, and as life goes on, I'm 44 years old, and like I said, I started studying this 20 years ago. It seems like I'm turning back the clock. And when I interview John Easterling on these plants, that's exactly what he says. It regenerates, it rejuvenates, and that's all part of the endocrine system. And so the Suma, Muipuama, this particular the Power Shake differs from the Sumakazan because it has Chuchuwasi. And the Chuchuwasi is a great synergizer. So it helps to accelerate any formula that it's in. It's also in the tea as well, as we covered before. And then it has Kuicha, the highest proteinaceous grain on the planet with no gluten. So the big difference between this and the Sumakazan is it really comes down to lifestyle. What's your lifestyle? What's your customer's lifestyle, your client's lifestyle? Do they make a shake every morning? Yes or no? Because if they do not, then they're best off taking the Sumakazan, either in capsule or liquid form, because this tastes like rooty, barky herbs. So, some say dirt. And so I don't mind dirt. So the question is the person that's taking it, is their palate sophisticated enough to handle the taste of those herbs? Because you want it going into their bloodstream daily. The consistency with this, for me, everyone's different. I had cell saturation in about 3 weeks. I was running down the beach, and I just felt like I could run forever. a little bit of this and some warrior, and I could just feel that power. And then I felt like in my mind I could do these handstands. Like I'd seen them in yoga, and I tried to practice them a little bit. And I just felt like I could do them, and I started doing these press-ups, and my rhomboids started ripping, and I went to the summit, and somebody was like, here, try some Rakabazan. And so my rhomboids started healing up, and I started, within 2 months, I started going up into full press-ups from the seated position. And I had never done that before. And I believe that's from the Sumakazan. And I used to show everybody, too. I used to do it at my Rainforest parties. I would do the press-ups.
Go on, do it. Go on.
I haven't done one in a while, I will try one after. You have my promise on that. We had a baby, and this is another great story about Sumakazan. We had a baby about 2.5 years ago, and my workout schedule basically went kaput. I basically walk now. That's my main workout schedule. And in my 20s and 30s, I had to go to the gym 5 days a week, do at least 30 to 45 minutes of cardio to keep the subcutaneous level of pudge off of me. And so remember, I was in front of the camera, so I've always taken care of myself, economically motivated to make money for myself. And the one thing I started to realize when I took these plants is I didn't have to go to the gym as much. Nutritionally, and now 2.5 years later, I do yoga maybe once every month and a half now. I walk as much as I can, but sometimes I don't work out for 2 weeks. In the first year of my son's life, I took care of him almost every day. And so that's another great element of network marketing. I was able to do that. And so, but the Sumakazan and the Power Shake, I have to say, it kept my body in perfect shape. As ripped as I was when I was in my 20s and 30s without trying. And so this is personally my favorite formula is Sumakazan and Power Shake because of the energy. The two things that I recommend every human being have, because some people have budget restrictions, are, so cleanse and detox first for the people that need it, but Sumakazan and Power Shake and Camu. Endocrine system, brain, vitamin C is the only thing the body doesn't produce, so the body needs vitamin C supplementation. Everything else the body produces if and only if it has the proper nutrition. And so endocrine system and brain food and vitamin C, these are the two things not to miss. And I choose to see some Sumakazan around here so I could give you guys the visual. And I'll show it to you afterwards. I was drinking a bottle up here. Did anybody see me drinking a bottle? And so there's another distributor in our company, and you'll meet him, Richard Cicchetti, and he was the one who helped design the Total Health Pack. And he told me that he feels like he could walk through walls like the Shaolin monks with drinking a bottle of Sumakazan within 8 hours. Felt that powerful, and so I've taken him up on that a few times. I had to do some market research on that one. So, the last component of the Total Health Pack is, and you can always know if you've outlined the Total Health Pack for your people, it's 6 products, and so. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the 6th product. This is our Aquazon product. 90% of the Amazon Herb Company ingredients are wild Amazonian plants. The 2 in here are not. It has freshwater and saltwater algae, hence the word aqua, water. So the freshwater comes from Klamath Lake. It's a blue-green algae. And the saltwater is marine fucus. And I do believe it's off the coast of Peru. Yes, so off the coast of Peru, and there's a lot of algae on the market right now. I have to tell you, even though I love all the plants in the Amazon, this one registers probably the highest that I've personally tested in my own kinesiology test. There's something in it. It's very pure, and if you start to talk to the doctors, Dr. James Hobber told me it's very important to trace minerals in here, and especially the iodine for the thyroid. And so Trace minerals are essential to help restore emotional balance. And so 3 to 9 of these a day, depending on where you're at, how much minerals. And of course, with everything that's happening on the planet, everything's speeding up. The more minerals you have in your body, the better. And so the Aquazon is just, it's great for energy, again, and mental clarity, because minerals are at the core of our energy balance. And so then we'll move into some of our other formulas. Everybody say, hi-ya! Hi-ya! All right. So, thank you very much. So this is our warrior product. This is modeled after an ancient Shaolin monk blend. And John just loaded it up with Rainforest Botanicals. So there's some Chinese in here. There's 3 of our formulas that have Chinese: Lunazon, Warrior, and Recovazon. And so it's an ancient Shaolin monk blend. And once again, the Shaolin monks believed, or actually could, walk through walls. And so very, very powerful martial artists and meditators. And so this gives you, there's no caffeine or adrenal burn in any of these products whatsoever. And so the Warrior gives you stamina and performance. And the way I see that the Warrior works is that if I take it and sit on the couch, it gives me a headache. But if I go out and run on it, or I go out and walk or do a yoga class, it opens up my brain after I'm done. I actually like the after effects of the Warrior because it like takes off my top chakra and just shines. And I go into business meetings. Like if I have to have a good business meeting, I'll go out and run in the morning, I'll take a good shot of Warrior, and it'll completely open me up, and I'll be like that for the day. But I do not take it unless I'm going to work out. And John Easterling actually said that at one of the summits recently, and he said this isn't something you want to take on the couch. Sit on the couch. However, I do have to point it out, everyone in their own genetic predisposition has different experiences. Some women who run cold like it, period. I love my Warrior. So it really depends on your customers. And the great thing about the plants is they start to really answer your questions, because people will be like, how much, when do I take it? You know, the thing is when you start putting them in your body, you can follow the directions on any of the labels. When you start putting them into your body, because the energetics and the spiritual component is there, they start to awaken our own innate intelligence, our own intuition. And you'll be guided. You'll just be attracted to what you want. So the Warrior is great for working out. The Recovazon, which we have represented in the gel here, is actually our #2 selling product. And I believe it's the reason because most people are dealing with some kind of pain associated with inflammation. So there's 2 plants in here. Once again, this is an ancient Shaolin monk blend. The Warrior's pre-battle and the Recovazon's post-battle. And so, and if you know anything about Shaolin Kung Fu, they punch 300-pound steel bells. And so their knuckles get really big. They harden their bone material. And so they've been known to break bones in training and stuff. And so it's an ancient Shaolin monk blend with some Chinese loaded with Rainforest Botanicals, especially Ipururu and Tayuya. And these 2 plants historically have been excellent to assist the body in getting lactic and uric acid out of the body. And so it's excellent for anyone who has, just any kind of aches and pains. The Chinese doctors that we work with, the acupuncturists, say that it helps to get stagnation out of the blood. And so that's the acupuncturist terminology. The Recovazon is also good for anyone who is post-surgery, inflammation from working out, triathletes. So like I said, intuitively, because we don't really market this product as much as, say, the Camu or the Total Health Pack, but intuitively it's our #2 selling product. Is it still our #2 selling product?
2 or 3, it just depends on one.
Yeah. So it's a great product. And of course, this is the gel, and we have it in liquid and liquizons. And there's an MP3 that's available, and I can send that to anybody who wants it. that the doctor says you can make poultices out of it. And there's one doctor that also says that you can get DMSO, which is it delivers it into the deeper parts of, say, the knee or the shoulder. You put the alcohol on it, you put a compress over it, you can sleep on it, and it delivers it deep into the shoulder or the knee or the bone, something that's sore. And so,
What is DSMO?
excuse me?
What's a DSMO?
DMSO is, the name eludes me. It takes it into the body deeper. It's a, yes, so I'll get you the PDF and you can listen to it. And so the Ricubazon is just excellent for repair. So I'd like to tell you a little bit of the story. The last time I was in Peru, my wife won the trip with John Easterling to the Amazon. And I had one a couple of years before and actually had seen the vision of my wife, not married, weren't a thing yet, with her and my son. And 2 years later, I returned with my wife and my son. And so I saw the vision when I was down there. So I went back a couple of years ago, and there's an awesome gentleman, Jose, who is the tour guide for the Amazon Herb Company. He's been doing it for many years. Anyone who's a top distributor in the company can win a trip with John Easterling down there. And I highly recommend that we all aim for the stars on that one, because it is life-changing. The stories that John has is just amazing, between the Bolivian Revolution and the mochi temples that were bigger than some of the Egyptian digs, and what he discovered, and some of it was in National Geographic back in the days. I mean, he just blows you away every single time I see him and hear him speak. So we were down there, and Jose picked us up from the airport. Hey, how's it going? Oh yeah, last year you weren't here. I heard you weren't here. Oh yeah, I was in the hospital. And he didn't really mention what it was from, and he said, we got to talking, and he said that John had given him some herbs while he was in the hospital, and how quick he had a recovery. So I asked him, of course, what herbs did you use? And he said that they gave him Ricubazon, and they gave him Sangre de Drago. And Sangre de Drago, this is part of Sangre de Drago right here. Sangre de Drago has tastins in it. Tastins have been shown, they're being studied right now in the University of London, Sweden, to regenerate the fibroblast cells responsible for collagen and elastin. So it helps with any kind of wound healing, so it's internal or external. And so it assists the body in repairing that. So give him that and Ricubazon to help him repair it. He said that he really liked the herbs. That was the first time he had tried them in all the years working with us. And so I interviewed John Easterling a few hours later in his hotel room, and I said, hey, yeah, I heard you gave Jose some herbs and you had a really good experience. And he said, do you know what kind of surgery he had? I said, no, tell me. He had what most people go into, and they come out, they're 45 days in intensive care. He was out in a week. And it was dome-off surgery. They took his top of his head off. And John told him to take 45 drops of Sangre de Drago, and then, of course, the Ricubazon as much as he desired. And he was out within a week. And so most people don't even survive, and if they do, they're in intensive care for many weeks. So that's, everyone's got their different experience, and of course we don't treat, mitigate, or cure anything, yet I hear miracles like this time and time again. I've heard John's broken back story in Ricubazon. I've had my friends who have had knee surgery, and hey, did it work? Well, I don't know. My doctor said it was the fastest recovery he'd ever seen in his life. So everyone has their different experience, and of course, people don't always attribute them to the herbs. That's okay. Just offer them the information and see how it helps them out. The Calmazon is excellent for the nervous system. Once again, the Illumination has the whole formula in it. There's a plant in it called Malungu, and Malungu assists the body in getting ACTH and cortisol out of the blood, the stress hormones. So it also has the Espinera Santa, which is excellent for the nervous system, passion flower, and the Muipuama and Catuaba, again, the endocrine support. So Muipuama, Catuaba, Suma, and Maca are really powerful for the hormones, the endocrine system. And so this one has the Catuaba as well. So it really supports the nervous system and calms everything down. The Chacamaca, everyone's favorite, including mine. The Chacamaca is not just chocolate. It has 2 capsules of herbs, and once again, all the endocrine support. Maca, Muipuama, Suma, Catuaba. And in Brazil, once again, Catuaba is a well-known aphrodisiac. And so it also has the blue-green algae and Camu in it, as well as the koichi. And you can't taste it, right? So very powerful, just tastes like chocolate, but it's got so much more in it. The Zamu, I gotta tell you my own experience in the Zamu. I'm a superfood junkie, and I've been that way for many years. I don't care what it tastes like, if it's good for me, if it's wild, it doesn't matter. I'll eat anything that's wild. And I will, and I eat ants. And so if it's wild and it's good for you, I want to try it. And so when the Zamu came out, I was like, uh-oh, gimmick, why do I need a juice to take my herbs in it? And so, but when I tried it, it was a complete different story. The first time I tried Zamu, John sent all the distributors, all the golds and above, 2 bottles before they launched it. And the taste was definitely new for me, and it was the clarity. Once again, it was almost like starting back from zero. Has anybody had that clarity? Like, hey, try these herbs. Dale suggested, hey, try these herbs. And all of a sudden you get this clarity that you weren't expecting. Anybody get that? Yeah. So that happened to me when I first started the plants, and that happened to me with this. And I quickly realized that this is not a gimmick, and it makes sense because I know John, and John's a man's man, and word around the campfire was he was in the laboratory, and he had the Monavise, and he had the other stuff, and he couldn't get high off of it. Right? Well, first of all, they got preservatives and chemicals in it, right? Fillers, sugar juices, and so I don't know how many grams of Camu in here, but I think John was in the lab going. So the most important thing to recognize is this is the only certified organic energy drink on the market with no caffeine. The only. There's so many unique elements of what this company offers, but with this beverage, no one can say that. Certified organic, and there's only 7 ingredients. So the Camu, one of the most important things that's coming out of the Amazon. In fact, in Dr. James Duke's Amazon Amazing 11, there's 4 pages on Camu. And it covers chocolate, Sangre de Drago, Uña de Gato, Suma, Maca, and Camu has the most pages of them all. So Camu, its delivery system is pineapple and mango. Those are both rainforest derived. Acai, it has cacao and cinnamon and Sangre de Drago. And the Sangre de Drago and the cinnamon are actually what preserves it. So we use natural preservatives. So, and once again, the Sangre de Drago is the highest antioxidant by dry weight. There's so much buzz out there and a lot of hype. And antioxidants, most people think that acai is the highest antioxidant. It's a high antioxidant, yes, but this is the most. It's 90% proanthocyanidins, OPCs by dry weight, making it the most powerful antioxidant on the planet. Deep dark reds, Gary Null has a whole body of work on deep dark reds. He did most of the research when all the red wine hype was out 15, 20 years ago. And his body of work basically says that deep dark reds reconfigure damaged DNA. He's 60 plus years old with hereditary baldness in his family, and he has all his hair, and he has his hair color as well. And so that's third party research as well. And you can look. He also has a Camu product, so you can look into some of his research and cross-reference, what's going on with the Camu. So Zamu, not a gimmick. It's the real meat and potatoes, and the great thing is it tastes great. It's for the mainstream. It's for your average person. And so you don't have to be a superfood junkie to enjoy the Amazon herbs anymore. Let's see, does anybody have a green brochure? There's one other plant that I want to cover, the Graviola. A lot of people, Graviola assists the body in abnormal tissue growth, and it assists with healthy cell division. That is what we can say about that. In 1992, a film came out with Sean Connery about, he was the medicine man. Does anybody remember that?
Yeah.
So that was about a guy who was in the Amazon, and he found the cure for cancer, and he went back, and they had bulldozed it over. That was modeled after Graviola. And so, of course, we don't treat, mitigate, or cure anything, but when you start to look at these plants and see the power of them, I personally take a bottle of Graviola twice a year just because I want to be healthy. I choose health. Anybody else choose health out there?
Yeah.
And so Graviola, you want to make sure that anyone you turn that on to, that they have the other support systems to make sure that their liver, kidneys, and colon are moving. Because if it breaks up any abnormal tissue growth, you don't want that going to anywhere else and getting stuck. You want to make sure all the channels are wide open. And you can start them out with Gravazon first. And so the Gravazon is a more balanced formula to assist the circulatory system. And so I was at the summit recently, and Dr. James Haver said the three major components of cancer are acidosis of the blood, poor circulation, and low or no will to live. And so, and a lot of our society, they don't really look at that mental, emotional, and spiritual component of your will to live.
Can you say that again? The three aspects?
Three major components of cancer is acidosis of the blood, poor circulation, and low or no will to live. Somebody just asked, what is acidosis? Perfect example of acidosis. I like to point this out because most people are not aware of what they're eating right now. There's genetically modified organisms in a lot of things. We live in the corn belt in this country. We have a corn belt. Animals are supposed to eat grasses. It's the way they were designed. And they've been being fed grains most recently, and GMO grains more than most recently. And then those animal products are fed to other elements of our food chain, and that's where I believe a lot of the sicknesses are coming from, one of the major components. And so animals with multiple stomachs, they're meant to eat grasses. When they're fed grains, it creates gas in their bodies. Gas in their body creates acidosis in their blood. Acidosis in their blood creates acidosis in whose blood? Whoever eats it. And so, red meat bad for you? Anybody heard that one? Might be a little misguided. So I believe, nutritionally, I think we've been, there's a little bit of misinformation and disinformation. I empower everyone to make the highest choices they can with what goes in here, because we're never unconscious of what goes in here. We can be ignorant or lazy, but we're never unconscious of anything that goes over our lips. So I empower everyone to really investigate, our food chain and start demanding it. Ask for, most of the people like sushi. Most of the sushi out there these days is being fed some of the GMOs. So really watch wherever you eat everything. I mean, it's important because your dollars actually vote for the change on the planet that we all want to see. And so it starts with health, as above, so below. My message is always biblical. Our health is directly related to the health of the world. And we, as a human being, as an individual, are the first sustainable system on the planet. So taking care of ourselves is actually taking care of the planet. The Digestazone Plus is our digestive enzymes. We have 2 Digestive products. The Digestive, which comes in a liquid, and not too many people order. You got any statistics on that, Brian?
No, it's very small.
Yeah, don't get rid of it, because it's one of my favorites. It's an elixir with 5 plants in it. And just like this and the Fiberzon, almost all the herbs give you energy or get you high. And so the Digestive, even though it's a digestive elixir, it has boldo in it, star anise. It really lifts you up. It'll get rid of any stomach ache that I have. And so not that many people order it, so to send the company a message, try a bottle. It's really dynamite if you have any digestive issues. Yes?
When do you usually take it? Do you take it before you eat, while you're eating, after you eat?
Usually after. You don't need that much of it. It has a little peppermint in it, the boldo again, it flushes bile secretion through the liver. Go ahead.
I've taken the Digestive every day, twice a day, since like the end of November, and it is amazing for the stomach. My stomach always hurt.
The plus or the regular liquid?
No, the liquid.
See, we got a liquid. Keep buying the liquid. Because I like the liquid. I know John was thinking of getting rid of it last year. But try the liquid, try a bottle of it. And let me tell you, you get energy off it. Just like the Fiberzon. If you have a scoop of Fiberzon in the afternoon, it's a snack, just like a shot of Zamu. It's not just herbs to clean your colon. So the Digestive is great. I'm glad you had that experience. I personally love the Digestive, but it's kind of like the Chocomaka. If I keep it stocked, I just go through it. I don't even think. I'll go through a bottle in a week. I love it so much. So I take the Digestive Plus every single day in the capsules. I take 5 in the morning. I model after John Easterling. Says he rolls out of bed every morning. The first thing he does is open up his cabinet, takes a scoop of Fiberzon, and then he takes a handful of the. He takes. I love John. John Easterling's awesome. He takes a handful of the Digestive Plus, and word around the campfire on the Digestive Plus is the enzymes in it assist the body in eating any undigested protein solids. The enzymes are so powerful. I do a demonstration, and you can find it on the internet. I don't know what it's labeled underneath, but there's a pudding demonstration. I go to the store and I buy toxic pudding with hydrogenated oils. You take it in a spoon, and it's like it's really thick. And within a minute and a half, one of the capsules, take a chopstick and you stir it up, pure liquid. And so that has the same ingredients as the Digestive, so the boldo, the peppermint, the star anise, and a couple other plants. And then they add the amylase and other enzymes to assist the body. Very powerful enzymes, and there's a lot of enzymes out in the health field, and a lot of people that think they know enzymes, they try ours, and they never go back. And I also have quite a few customers that go to India, South America, Bali, they get sick, and their stomach's never the same, parasites, and they live on Digestive. They love it. And so Digestive Plus, I keep in the house. I get a big one. I take 5 in the morning, and I take 2 to 3. I take 2 to 3 every single meal. And I studied with this other health nut named Don Tolman. He's the whole food cowboy. The guy's a fascinating human being. And he says that 95% of all diseases are clogged tubes. Clogged tubes. So his big joke is, you're totally tubular dude. So we're a series of veins, ventricles, cones, retinas. So you can basically break a tube, squish a tube, but ultimately clogged tubes in the eyes, cataracts, clogged tubes are in the veins, in the heart, arteriosclerosis, and so strokes, heart attacks, they usually come from clogged tubes. So you want to make sure you're cleaning out the plaque. The number one way to clean out the plaque, Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine. You want to consider these plants and these products food. They are like an herbal salad. I want a little bit of this, I want a little bit of that, and you eat them throughout the day. So the Envirazon is for environmental toxin protector. is what we call it. It assists the body's natural ability to cleanse and restore balance and protect from today's environmental impurities. So if you know anything about herbs or herbal medicine at all, if you've ever been told this, the bitter, the better for the liver, right? And so a lot of the Chinese herbs are really bitter. We've got Jurabiba. The only thing that's more bitter than Jurabiba is ayahuasca. Anybody had ayahuasca before? Yeah, it's extremely bitter. So, and this is probably our most interesting formula. And so, if you've got a sophisticated palate like me, I really enjoy the Envirozone. Except for if you don't, it's very bitter, pungent. You can feel it just like. And so, and we all need some Envirozone. We're breathing in whatever's coming out of the planes. And